if I felt like a part of me had gone.
Ooh, yeah.
I was jealous of people who were happy. I was jealous of people who still had their moms. I was jealous of people who had a very good relationship with their siblings, their family.
Yeah. Welcome to Breakthrough Moments with Sandy, the place where people share the real stories behind their biggest breakthrough. Every episode is a heart to heart about life, faith, business, grief, healing, and everything else in between. Nothing polished and nothing perfect, just moments that have shaped who we are today. So if you're watching me for the first time, I'm your host, Sandy Chinugure, and I love to create a platform where women can feel seen, supported, and inspired to rise again. A cup of tea, cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into today's breakthrough moments. Today's guest is someone whose story holds the kind of strength that you can actually feel before she even speaks it. Tanya has walked through one of the most life-changing events in any daughter's life. Losing her mom suddenly and stepping into the role of caregiving, having to navigate through cultural differences, and still trying to show up at work while her own heart was breaking. And yet, in the middle of grief and in the middle of pain, Tanya was able to recognize the power of prayer, the power to allow the Most High to navigate you through the times of grief. And her story will bring an understanding of what that actually means when the Most High meets us when we feel stretched and unseen. So let's take this time to welcome Tanya. Welcome, Tanya Kadi.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
for joining
Sandy.
us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite. I am honored that you have invited me to your wonderful podcast.
Thank you. So let's start at the beginning, Tanya. Can you share a bit about what has led you to be where you are today? Tell us, who is Tanya Kadi? What has led you to be where you are today?
Right. I'll just give you just a quick summary. When I think about what led me here today is the date, the 23rd of August 2017 at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. My mom and I walked into King's College Hospital in London. She hadn't been feeling very well for a long time, and she had lost a lot of weight. And she wasn't really quite herself because she's quite a bubbly person like me. She has a smile on her face. And nothing prepared me for what was about to come. You see, at that time, life actually felt good because my dad, who was living in Sierra Leone at the time, had come. He hadn't been here for many, many years. So the family unit felt really complete and everyone was happy.
Yeah.
And then we got the phone call from just a routine test to say that mom has got stage 4 esophageal cancer, which is a cancer of the throat. And in the UK, the survival rate is 15%. And that is very, very low, you see. And that was where my journey into this world began. Somewhere in that pain, that tumultuous time, emotional roller coaster, hospital visits, caregiving, anticipatory grief. Is she going to die? Is she not going to die? And the fear that I felt at that moment, not just me, the whole family. And this was where the seed of who I am today started. That's when it was planted.
Wow. Tanya, at what stage in this journey did things take a turn, what was that time when everything just took a turn? If you can just take us back to your story and then just highlight at what stage everything took a turn.
There wasn't really one specific moment. It was like the entire 11 plus months roller coaster, the aggressive treatment that pulled every emotion in me. Mom had a heart condition. So
Yeah.
some of the treatment that was prescribed for her, the chemotherapy, she couldn't have all of them. She only had about 6 sessions, 5, 6 sessions, if I could remember. And they had to stop it because her kidney function, her body wasn't coping with it. I wasn't really ready for this. Not emotionally, not psychologically, and culturally. Because, as I said previously to you, that I come from a multicultural background. My father is half Lebanese and my mother is Sierra Leonean and also half
Okay.
Lebanese. So
Okay.
the family is everything to us. And the
Yeah.
expectations of caregiving is not even a choice. I was just
Yeah.
I had to just step into that role that I've never trained for. My mom had been in that role for 48 years and I
Yeah.
had to just step into it. I had other siblings that couldn't cope with what was going on. And watching mom fade away slowly, knowing that I just couldn't fix her. I couldn't fix it. No amount of prayer, no amount of coaxing could fix it. It was just the hardest thing for me in life. She was my everything. She was just my, one of those people that you call, she's my ride or die, and we do
Yeah.
things together and we laugh together. So
Yeah.
watching her fade away and losing her piece by piece, you know, cancer treatment is very, very gruesome. It's very gruesome. But that season was also the birthing of the version of me that you see here today, the grief coach, the Tanya that people
Yeah.
see with a smile on her face. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't even know then when I was going through, when I was in the thick of my grief, that this was where I would be 7 years later. It was like the changing of the guards, I call it.
Yeah.
She handed over this baton to me. So for me, I would say grief didn't break me. It redirected my path. It redirected my life.
Wow. Thank you for highlighting that point that grief didn't break you, it highlighted your path. Because I believe there's someone out there who needs to hear this, and someone out there who actually needs to remind themselves that grief should not break you, but it should redirect your path. Thank you for highlighting that one, Tanya. So
Absolutely.
I take it part of the shift came when you lost your mom suddenly.
Yeah.
And at that point, everything changed. At that point, everything changed.
Yeah.
What exactly do you remember about those first days, those first weeks when you were trying to hold everything together? Can you just enlighten us? How was that during that time when you had to hold everything, hold yourself together, hold everyone around you together, be a caregiver, and still show up at work? Can you just tell us how those times were? The first week, the first month, how did you navigate that time, that period?
When Mom passed away, those first few days and weeks, it felt like I was living in a blur, like a fog. And the funeral came, and the day after the funeral, when Mom was sick, before we took her to the hospice in her last month, I was actually sharing the bedroom with her because she needed me at night and I couldn't possibly be going back and forth. So the day after the funeral, and I walked into that room, the emptiness, the loneliness. I remember vividly that was the 5th of September 2018. It finally hit me. that this is the first day of the rest of my life. I felt void and lonely in a crowded room, even though the family was here, my aunties, uncles, cousins. I felt lonely. If I felt like a part of me had gone. But you see, God is a wonderful God. He held my hand. I came across somebody, a wonderful woman of God, who later became like a mother figure to me. Um, she doesn't live in the UK, she lives in the United States. And she stood in the gap for me. She held me in prayer and she comforted me. But one important thing that she did that really did shock me was she held a mirror in front of me to make me see who I am and what I carry and what the future holds if I participate in my healing. Because healing does not happen overnight. It is a process.
Yes.
I had to go through that process. I had to cry. I had to pray through it. It was not easy. It taught me that grief is lonely, but
Yeah.
loneliness does not mean that you can't heal. You can still heal through your loneliness. You just have to make a decision to participate in it.
Uh-huh. Oof. Yeah. You just have to make a decision to participate in it. Grief is real. It's lonely, but you just have to make a decision to participate in it.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that, Tanya? Elaborate on that statement to say that you have to make a decision to participate in it.
Right. Participating in grief, for me, that meant that I had to do the work. I had to journal through my dark days. I had to seek help when I needed it. I had to talk when I needed to talk. It does not negate the loneliness, but I had to actively make a decision that I am going to seek help and I am going to heal, and this is not going to break me, because what I'm going through is not just for me. God is
Mm.
using what I'm going through to hold space for other people, to hold the hands of other women, and to comfort them. But I have to walk the walk. I have to feel that pain.
Wow.
That is what I mean. I have to participate in that pain, in the fear, in the anxiety. It all comes with grief. And you have to face it.
That's right. You have to face it. There's no running away from it, is there?
No,
S-
no.
So can I ask, was there any point or any stage that you felt like you were bearing your emotions, like you were just, how can I put it, like burying your head in the sand and hoping everything will just go away? Was there any stage like that that you just kept everything in and just get
Yeah,
on, trying to get on and navigate your life day to
yeah.
day? Were you ever at that stage? And if so, if your answer is yes, I also want to know, how did you finally allow yourself to feel and process everything?
Right. Thank you. Um, there were days where I didn't realize that I was actually suppressing my emotions. Um, I had perfected wearing a mask on my face. And my signature answer to everything was, I'm okay. And
Mm,
I have this beautiful smile on my face. I'd perfected it. Even though
mm,
inside there was like a tsunami going on of emotions going on inside of me. I did
mm-hmm,
like, yes, I'm fine.
mm,
I wanted to hide.
yeah.
But because I didn't know, any other way to survive grief. I didn't have a format, and the responsibilities that had, like, grief is in different layers. Sometimes it comes at once, and sometimes it comes in waves. It wasn't until a few years later, like 2+ years later, that
Yeah.
I was actually scrolling through social media, Facebook, and
Okay.
I came across a a post that was talking
Yeah.
about the meaning in grief. I was like, the meaning in grief, it stopped me in my tracks. I was like, wow, okay, I didn't even
Mm.
know these kind of things existed. I was living in my
Yeah.
own world, in my own bubble. And
Yeah.
I started to read the post and read subsequent posts by the by this page, on this page, and I was shocked at, are you speaking my language? This is the
Mm.
kind of thing that I'm looking for. This is the
Yeah.
kind of language that I I want to explore, to hear. And
Yeah.
the emotions that I've been feeling, the emotions that I've been suppressing, now I've got words for them.
Mm.
Sadness, anger,
Yeah.
denial, jealousy, because jealousy in grief is also very real. You can look at other
Mm.
people and go, why are you being so happy? My mom has just died.
Yeah.
And it is something
Yeah.
that I had to learn, that I cannot stop other people from being happy because I'm grieving. We cannot stop other people from going about their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I mean, I went back to work 2 weeks after, you know, and that really sparked something in me. I wrote down the details, and every day I will go and do a bit more research, a bit more research, and I would have more
Yeah.
and more language. And that curiosity led me to pursue grief coaching. But before I go there, I want to say one
Mm-hmm.
thing that a lot of
Yeah.
people don't talk about when it comes to
Yeah.
grief or emotional trauma is secretly eating, overeating. Yeah. I
Mm.
was comfort eating at night.
Wow.
I didn't realize that I was actually damaging my own body. I was comforting myself on days that I didn't have nobody to talk to, and I will eat the chocolates and the cake and ice cream, and
Wow.
to comfort me.
Yeah.
And I would sit down in the room and lock the door, and do all of that. And in the morning, I will feel so horrible and disgusted with myself. I know a lot of people out there, they comfort eat when they're going through grief, and they don't talk about it. And
Yeah.
hands up, this is a honest moment. I did. It was hard.
Wow.
And you just wake up
Wow.
overnight and you go, ooh, I've got extra pounds here. And the neck is
Mm.
becoming thicker and the clothes are
Yeah.
becoming tighter. And that was when it really did dawn on me that no, I have to stop. I have to stop, and I have to do the work, and I have to seek help. And that led me down this rabbit hole of researching grief coaching. I came across a lady who was running a program on grief coaching,
Mm.
and
Okay.
I didn't even think twice. I just jumped on it straight away.
Wow.
She didn't have to sell me anything. I just signed up for it. So I signed up for that. I went through the program, and doing that program helps me healing, with my healing. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. There are two things that you've just mentioned which have really stood out for me. Which, to be honest, if a hand on heart, I've never heard anyone say this before. And that is jealousy. You mentioned jealousy, and you mentioned the overeating. Rarely or hardly do you ever hear anyone putting their hands up and saying, I am comfort eating because I'm grieving. It's just something that they just do behind the scenes without mentioning. So, would you like to share with us how you managed to break from this cycle?
Yes. Um, with the jealousy, I'll start with the jealousy. You know, um, the spirit of jealousy is a difficult one to get rid of or to address, right? As I said to you,
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady came into my life that the Lord brought into my life that was pretty much like a mother figure to me. And there were certain conversations that I was having with her with regards to the family and the family commotion, family dynamics. And
Mm-hmm.
she said to me, Tanya, I have to be very honest with you. I think this is the spirit of jealousy, and we need
Mm-hmm.
to work on that. And you can't carry on like this. This is holding you back. And you don't want this to hold you back. We have to start working on it. So she gave me several scriptures to
Mm-hmm.
read and to journal. And one thing she taught me was for me to journal my true and raw feelings. And I have a notebook that I sat down
Mm-hmm.
and started
Okay.
to document every single day areas or in my life that would trigger that spirit of jealousy in me. I was jealous of people who were happy.
Wow.
I was jealous of people who still had their moms. I was
Yeah.
jealous of people who had a very good relationship with their siblings, their family,
Yeah.
my father, because they were all grieving in their own way. And I
Yeah.
expected them to grieve like how I was grieving. And that was not possible. So that led to this intense jealousy like, but why are you happy?
Mm.
But why are you doing this? But why are
Yeah.
you doing that? And I think it was fueled by the loneliness that I felt as
Yeah.
well. And yeah, me addressing that, that changed a lot of things in me. I have to understand that. I have to allow people to grieve their grief and walk their own grief the way they see fit. That is one. Then the overheating.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been a a chubby, chubby lady from a very young age. And I embrace it. I'm full of energy, full of life. But starting to comfort myself with food. I'm a foodie. I love cooking,
Yeah.
and that was where myself and my mom shared a lot of beautiful moments together because she would cook and the whole family would come round and celebrate and weekends. But when I noticed that this was, even though I'd eaten or I'd had my 3 meals, I
Mm-hmm.
found myself wanting to eat more in the evening when I had no
Mm.
business eating. I was going to the fridge looking for something to eat. And
Yeah.
I wasn't even hungry.
Wow.
I wasn't hungry. I was suppressing my emotions and my grief with food, with sugar. I will have
Yeah.
that initial high and then
Yeah.
the sugar rush and then the drop
Mm.
and then I will crash again and start crying. And I will repeat that process day in, day out, day in, day out. This carried on for for a long time, for a few months. And
Mm.
it took a lot of work for me to get over that and to understand that no, I'm full. I can't eat anymore. And it wasn't healthy. It was affecting my sugar level. It was affecting my blood pressure. It was affecting my sleep. It was affecting my focus at work and at home, because you get so fixated on this sugar
Yeah.
high.
Wow. Wow. You know, they talk about there's beauty in ashes, and from what I've heard so far, this journey, the grief, all these things that you had to go through, all these things that you had to carry, the jealousy, everything, there's some form of beauty that came out of this whole thing, and that is you finding your purpose. Can you share the moment that you realized that my purpose now has changed? My purpose now is to guide other women and support other women who are grieving. At what stage? Just highlight to us how you realize that. Share that moment with us.
Yeah,
What that moment was about.
yeah, yeah. Okay. There wasn't just one dramatic moment, you know. It felt more like something quietly clicking into place. Right.
Yeah.
As I said to you before, while I was scrolling through Facebook, I stumbled across this grief coaching program that I started to take part in. I signed up for it, and it did help me. During that program,
Yeah.
we were asked to deal with our own grief before we can deal with anybody else's grief. And that was the moment I felt like, okay, they really are going to open up this wound in me. They really are
Yeah.
going to open up this wound in me. But I did realize that going through that, allowing myself for those wounds to be open and for me to openly talk about how I was truly feeling in the group setting, it really did allow me to understand that this is bigger than I am. I I started to read about I started to read about what it was that I would actually do after these sessions. And then my supervisor came up to me and said, there is a greater purpose for you, and you don't see it. The love that comes through, even in my darkest moments, the pain that was nudging me towards my purpose, you know, I had to learn to allow myself to heal, to grow. I know at the time it didn't make sense to me, but now I see
Mm-hmm.
it, because the way I serve women now
Mm.
was born from that very dark place that I once was, that I thought would destroy me. It didn't. It birthed my purpose, my vulnerability, allowing myself to be vulnerable. It helped to birth my purpose.
And I can also testify to the greatest purpose is normally birthed from things or situations that would have paved a way for that purpose. There's no greater there's no greater way of actually finding out what your purpose is, but through what you would have gone through or things you've experienced. And also on that note, I just want to find out during that time, because there was just so much going on in your life. Was there any other layer of challenges? Could it be health wise or anything else? Was there
Yes,
anything else that was added in the mix of all these things that you were already dealing with in your
yeah,
life at that time?
yes, yes, there was. I I had endometriosis, and one of the most severe forms of endometriosis which is a chronic condition where the tissues that is similar to the lining of the womb, the uterus, grows outside of the body, and the symptoms of it causes like severe pelvic pain and fatigue, heavy monthly flow, irregular sometimes, and it causes severe physical pain. So I was going through my grief and dealing with endometriosis at the same time. So that was like a double whammy, double load. But what I had to do was I had to understand that even though I was going through those two things, the
Mm-hmm.
endometriosis and grief, that I have to, it helped me to transform my pain into purpose. It increased my empathy, my compassion, and my ability to hold space for others, because I see them, I hear them, I understand. I've walked 1,000 steps in their shoes.
Wow. Can you highlight for us how it was having to navigate between the physical pain and the emotional pain? How did that affect your life?
It affected my relationships. It affected my day-to-day activities. And one thing I never failed to do was to recognize my limitations when it came to my physical body. Learning about the do's and don'ts of endometriosis, it really did help me to navigate the two together. With coping, one thing I also did was I learned to understand my body. I learned to understand what was my limits and what I could do and what I couldn't do. And that was my cue that I used all the time. That I'm tired, rest.
Yeah.
I have the energy, do.
Wow.
When I can, I will do what I can. And when I feel
Mm.
exhausted, I will understand that my body needs rest. And rest is underrated, but
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
rest and sleep is
True.
underrated. We go,
That's
oh,
true.
I will. Us women do that all the time. Oh no, I'll
Yeah.
carry on. Oh, I'll survive on 2 hours sleep. I survive on 3 hours sleep. And we do for everybody else and we don't do for us. And I did that. And the impact was not kind to my body. I had to understand that yes, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. And when you're tired, time out. When you're overwhelmed, time out. And that came through understanding. If I didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
that, then I wouldn't be able to do that because I was just on the go, 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 pleasing everybody, doing everything for everybody. I'd wanted to be the matriarch of the family,
Yeah.
just like how mom was. And I forgot
Yeah.
that she had been doing what she did for 48 years of marriage. And that baton had been passed on to me prematurely, and I had to
Mm.
step into Tanya, the daughter, Tanya, the caregiver, Tanya,
Yeah.
the mommy, and Tanya, the sister, and yeah, I had to take a step
Wow.
back and have understanding.
Wow. So you had to learn really fast. As
Yeah,
soon as the baton was passed on to you,
yeah,
there was no one else to pass it to. You just had to, run
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
I'm
You
sure.
have to
I'm
run
sure there
with
were
it.
times, and I'm sure there are times when you fell, picked yourself up, continued running, fell, picked yourself up again.
Yeah, I had many times like that, particularly at work. Fortunately, we have a lake near my workplace, and I used to go down to the lake at lunchtime and watch the ducks and the waterfall. It really did calm me down. It allowed me to just look at nature and understand the beauty of God and understand what the gift that God has given us. Yes, I was grieving, but that gift of life, to appreciate the gift of life.
Appreciating the gift of life. That is powerful.
Yeah,
Because once you start appreciating that gift of life, you start seeing life through different lenses. You
yeah,
allow yourself to come out of that cage of grief and start to continue experiencing that beauty of life. I think
yeah,
that's a good thing to do because when you start appreciating something else, you remove your focus from that thing that is keeping you in pain or in grief.
yeah.
So,
Ab-
go on, Tanya.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That is true. Because there's no need to be pretending. One exercise that I do is I ask myself every day, where am I pretending to be okay? And journal that. Where am I pretending to be okay? And what small acts of care can I give myself today without feeling guilty? Those two things. I journal every day about it. Connect with my inner self. Be truthful to me. And I'm sure the audience listening, if you're listening to me, be truthful to yourself. Are you pretending to be okay? And what small thing can you do for yourself today that will not make you feel guilty?
Telling yourself, asking yourself every day, where am I pretending to be happy? Where am I pretending to be okay? Wow. Because sometimes as women or even men, as human beings, sometimes we've mastered that skill of masking things,
Yeah,
pretending to be okay, pretending like everything is fine. But underneath, all you're just simply doing is just putting everything on that grief, that pain underneath the carpet, and it's not going away.
nope. It doesn't. It doesn't go away. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and address it.
So, can we safely say that until you allow yourself and be truthful to yourself and say, you know what, this grief, this pain, this situation is not going anywhere. I have to face it upright. So, can we safely say that as long as we pretend like we're okay, like nothing happened, we are still in denial and we're prolonging our healing? Can we safely say that, or what are your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
Yes, you can safely say that you if you're in denial and you don't want to deal with it, it's not going to go away. You have to walk through your grief. You have to process it. That's what aids healing. I mean, there's so many things that I can go into with regards to honest with yourself.
You know, I lost my brother. I lost a brother.
Oh,
And hearing some of these things that you're saying, you realize that for real, when you're going through grief, you do need someone who's not your immediate family, who's not also going through the grief. You need
yeah,
someone to hold you and support you. But these are some of the things that we overlook, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. There's so many layers to grief.
Do you mind just touching a bit on that, Tanya?
Yes, I mean, some of the layers of grief is twofold. Like, one of the things that I also see in grief is unforgiveness, right? Unforgiveness is you not forgiving yourself. That's the start. Number one, you not forgiving yourself for what you could have done, what you could have said, what should have happened, what shouldn't have happened, depending on how your loved one died. We guilt trip ourselves all the time
Yeah.
that I could have done this, I should have done that. No, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. Forgive yourself. Let it go. We have to learn to let it go. Because unforgiveness can hold you back. It can deter your healing process. The power of forgiveness, as a woman of God, that was one thing that I had to address, forgiving myself. Because I too, even though I'm a grief coach, I know all the
Mm-hmm.
answers to this, but
Yeah,
I'm human too. I feel these emotions too. And there were
that's
times
right.
where I guilt tripped myself. Maybe I deceived mom. I was telling her that she was going to be okay, she will be fine, God's going to heal
Mm.
her, she will be a testimony. And then when
Yeah,
we were dealt with the blow of, oh, she's been given like 2 months to leave and all treatments had to stop, that hits you in the face. That guilt. I lived with it for a very long time, but it was outside of my control. And I'm sure there's many people listening to us today that that feels guilty for whatever reason that you feel guilty for. Let it go. Love on your people. Give them their flowers when they're alive.
wow. Give them the flowers whilst they're still alive. Tanya, can I ask something? You've been talking about guilt. Part of you, was there a part of you that felt like I didn't pray enough, or I didn't have enough faith, or I didn't do this enough? What did that guilt look like?
Right. I'll tell you a story behind that guilt. Right. Just after mom to was diagnosed of her cancer, I'd already booked to travel to the Holy Land with my church community. And when we got the diagnosis, I was kind of in, I was living in hope that, yes, I'm going to the Holy Land. I'm going to pray for my mom. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And she's going to be healed. She's going to be a testimony. And then when I came back after those 2 weeks away, it really did dawn on me that she was deteriorating and that was not going to happen. That really, it, it stayed with me for a long time. I kept asking, but God, why? I thought she was going to be healed. I saw her as this strong person, this woman who had so much faith in you, and I have faith
Yeah.
in you. And I felt that that was enough for for her to be healed. No, it's not enough. I'm not God. And I was weeping one day in prayer, and I heard very clearly, let it go. Let it go. And that was my turning point. Just let it go. I don't have control of her life.
Let it go.
Let it go. That was all
Those
I
are
heard.
three,
Let it go.
and those are very powerful three words. Simple. Let it go.
Let it go.
Can you just imagine what would have happened if, or what would not have happened if you decided not to be obedient and just not let it go? and, be blaming the Most High, be blaming yourself.
Yeah.
So, Tanya, for the woman or the man that is listening right now, and they are currently in this season that you have just shared with us, what are some of the things that you can leave with them today?
Right. Okay. One thing I would say is you are grieving, you are not failing. Release that guilt. People often guilt trip themselves. I felt that myself. Forgive yourself. This is just the small things that you think that is not going to help you, that will help you. And for anyone out there
Interesting.
who's a woman of God and they have their faith, hold on to your faith
Hold
because
on to your
healing
faith.
begins with the tiny moments where something hurts a little less each day.
Wow. Healing comes when something hurts a little less each day. So for someone who's in this journey, they just need to realize that that little less is the beginning of the healing.
Yes.
They should not
That's,
despise that little less.
yeah. Don't despise little
Wow.
beginnings. You have to take that one step. It just takes one step, one foot in front of the other.
Wow. That is powerful, Tanya. That is absolutely powerful. Thank you so much. And I'm
Welcome.
sure a lot of people are going to really benefit from the conversation that we've had today. I was actually benefiting as well. And
Yeah.
before we finish, Tanya, I just want to shine a light on what you do, the kind of work that you do.
Right. Okay. I support women who are overwhelmed, carrying their grief and responsibility. I support them through my lived experience. I provide a safe, judgment free space for them to feel comfortable. That is why I created my social media handle, Beyond Your Tears with Tanya, because I've cried a lot of tears. I support women who feel overwhelmed with their grief, the ones who are trying to just hold it together and feel like they're falling apart. You carry family expectation, responsibilities, and cultural expectation, and you're still trying to show up for work. You're still trying to do life. You're still trying to take care of the children. Because my approach is just simple. I see you. I hear you. I've walked this walk and all the layers, the different parts of grief, I've experienced it. And I support them through the things that most people don't say out aloud. It's not just about the theory, it's about the experience, the compassion, understanding. So, what I offer right now is I have come up with three goodies for your audience. The first one
Oh,
is
we
I've
love
I've done a
goodies.
yes, I've done a free PDF that
Okay.
will help them. I've named it Am I Grieving? It's just 7 questions for you to identify if you are grieving and if
Nice.
you to identify if you're grieving. Answer them honestly. And once you've completed those 7 questions,
Hmm.
if you feel that you are overwhelmed and you need to talk to somebody, I'm offering also your audience a 20-minute. I'm opening my calendar at the weekends for a 20-minute discovery call. It's a first come, first serve. And
Mm.
it's not just any ordinary discovery call, it's a discovery call where it's a one to one, heart centered call where I hold a space for you to talk and express yourself and feel comfortable doing so. And I've also done a prayer of grief and loss meditation that is in my TikTok link in bio. And
Hmm.
that is also free for your audience. And it's a 10-minute meditation that I will gift your audience that they can listen to in the quiet time and anytime they feel the need to. Is That's me guiding them through that meditation and prayer.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. That's an amazing offer. That's an amazing offer. And I'm sure a lot of my audience are going to take up on that offer. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know where to start or where to end with this. It's been an amazing conversation, Tanya. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and being able to open up and allowing yourself to trace back and rewalk those steps with us. I know it's not that easy, to be honest. I don't
No,
want to think that it's been very easy. But thank you
thank
for allowing me, myself, my audience to walk with you and experience your journey from your shoes.
you.
And I love the fact that you've reminded us that we don't need to pretend that we're okay when you're
No,
grieving. There's no need to be pretending.
no, don't.
We need to allow, yes, we just have to allow the Most High to navigate us and to
Yeah,
take us through these hard
yeah,
times.
yeah. It is.
And
If you allow God to intervene. One scripture that I always hold on
mhm,
to: God is
yes.
close to the brokenhearted. You know,
And where can people find that scripture?
it's Psalm 34 verse 18. It's in the meditation.
Okay. Okay.
It's in,
Okay.
yes. So, and another thing that used to anchor me was my mom's favorite song that she always used to sing, and we sang it at her funeral reception, which is "Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine." At first, it used to upset me, but now I sing it
Mm,
as a praise. It is a praise and a
wow.
prayer.
Wow. It's amazing how you've started seeing the song from a different angle.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much, Tanya. Really appreciate the time. And for those watching, if Tanya's story has really touched you, or you can relate, or you are currently trying to navigate grief, navigate everyday life, I want you to connect with Tanya. I'll leave the link to her platforms in the comments section. So please make sure to connect with Tanya and make sure you take advantage of the free offer that she is offering everyone. Tanya, before we finally log off, please can you share your platforms with our audience?
Yes, my platform is Beyond Your Tears with Tanya on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm mostly frequent on TikTok, so if you want to find me, come and visit me on TikTok, where I go live 3 times a week and I share tips. I have a conversation with my audience, and there's so many good things that's coming up in the new year that are in the pipeline. So go and follow me on TikTok and my Facebook page. All my social media handles are the same: Beyond Your Tears with Tanya. And you can't miss this face.
No, definitely not. And they cannot miss that smile as well. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the nuggets and and for sharing your story once again. And if you have enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who needs this, and subscribe to this channel so you do not miss out on the conversations that we will be having next. For now, we're checking out. Thank you. Stay blessed and do take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.